FC. They've won 4 consecutive Heartland Division titles. They've also won 7 straight against Rochester FC. They haven't allowed a goal in 11 consecutive halves. 8th all-time meeting between the Loons and Aurora FC when we return. Try to help anchor things defensively.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it, I'm sure, a lot throughout this game, but a lot of new faces on this Minnesota Aurora squad, and it's going to be critical to make sure they're settling those nerves early on. Not a lot of them have had a ton of experience on this home field and just wanting to settle things in.
Aurora, that's been a tradition here in Eagan, Minnesota, that they utilize that high press. They love to turn teams over, pin them deep in their own defensive half. That will be another theme tonight for this restructured Aurora team with 20 new faces. As for Rochester FC and second-year manager Eric Field, they go with a 4-3-3. A bit of an experimentation, Field told us. This is not the typical shape that they're going to go with as the season goes on.
Yeah, he was telling us that a lot of these players that are returning are familiar with this, and that happens when you have that early game coming up quickly, that you want to make sure that your team feels feels comfortable, and then you can make those adjustments as the season goes on.
Eric Field also telling us that the first 10-15 minutes so crucial tonight for this Rochester FC team, trying to dictate the tenor of this contest. As we look at the full 11 here for Aurora, Taylor Fox will get the nod in goal. The former South Carolina Gamecock is Taylor Fox, but she brings a wealth of experience in the USLW League. Has played for Kingshammer, Sun City, Lexington SC, Greenville as well prior to that.
Yeah, it's nice seeing just how many players have already had experience in this league. So, yes, a lot of fresh faces to this team, but not to the league itself.
11 career appearances, 10 career starts. As the whistle sounds, the ball is rolling, and we are officially underway in 2026. Center referee Emily Zilla tonight. It's Rochester FC in the light gray, Aurora in the all navy. Across the touchline it goes, and it will be a throw-in for Rochester FC, who bring back not just their manager, but a good core of players. Cicely Esbach, who was the returning leading scorer from a season ago. Mariana Brito had a goal last season. Zarina Markovic as well returns to Rochester FC. And this coaching staff, they told us earlier in the week that they are very excited about this core group of players they brought back in 2026. But it's also some of the new players like an Ella Kane, who spent 2 years in Detroit City, that excites Eric Field the most.
Yeah, not just players. I mean, head coach Jen Larrick, she's coming back her second year as head coach, and that brings the consistency you want of what she wants this program to look like.
Here is Amelia Brown getting the start at one of the two center back spots along this back four. She'll steer it forward to Capriel Winder. Now overlapping run, looking to find Hannah Boughton. Instead, it finds the touchline, and it will be a change of possession. Peyton Beam, the 18-year-old, just completed her freshman season at Central Methodist in the NAIA. She will throw this in. Not able to force the turnover. Was a bit handcuffed there by the defensive presence, and now looking for a release clearance forward. Under some duress, Rochester were. And Brown will step forward and take that one away. Amelia Brown speaking to the local media earlier this week here in the Twin Cities, and while she is making her first foray into the Heartland Division, this is not her first stint in the state of Minnesota. Spent a couple of seasons with the Golden Gophers not far up the road. University of Minnesota, was a college teammate of Jelena Zbielich. She told those in attendance that she felt like that gave her a good baseline knowledge of what to expect.
Yeah, it's always nice to have somebody give you a little pointers before heading into that first game.
A good early ball in, trying to run onto the path of it is Duby. Was trying to step back inside. Flag will come up, and Flavie Duby running out of room, and that will give Kyla Holmes, the 20-year-old from New Jersey, a chance to put this back in play. Holmes getting the start tonight for Eric Field over Isabella Hollenbach, who started 5 matches but appeared in 10 last season for Rochester FC, as that's knotted out.
But this last possession is something that Minnesota Aurora can build off of. They were able to get into the final third, start to try to find how they can be dangerous, and certainly want to use that momentum going.
On the turn, here is the aforementioned Ella Kane. Trying to round that corner on Capriel Winder. The cross in, deflected out. It will be a corner early for Rochester FC. Loons had some success a season ago generating corners. Finished the year with 21, had 2 goals off of those 21 corners. It'll be Betsy Huckabee, the Louisville Cardinal, set to steer this in from the near flag. Out-swinging ball, the heads go up, and it falls out the other side. That is where Rachel Jackson, the captain, will let it roll all the way out, but it will be a throw for Rochester. At least momentarily. Emily Zilla, our center referee, rectifying that, and it will be an Aurora FC throw-in.
And you can tell that was an early corner kick in this game. Both teams still looking to get settled in. That ball being allowed to go through the box. You could see both coaching staffs, certainly you want to get something on that. You're trying to get, either you're getting it out or you're getting it in, and both teams miss it completely.
Rochester FC trying to inch their way back down the pitch. Aurora able to snuff that out. Sky Leach on it. The center midfielder out of the University of Kentucky. Spent some time in Texas, her native state, with Baylor University. Looked up ahead. Here's Olivia Rush, one of 2 Indiana Hoosiers on this 2026 roster for Minnesota Aurora. They don't make it to the halfway line, and it's tossed back in quickly by Rochester FC. They're going to cut that centrally. Boughton all over it. Now turned forward. Here's Ai Kitagawa. Ai Kitagawa coming off an impressive collegiate season at the University of Memphis, where she and her college teammate Flavie Duby helped the Tigers to the NCAA tournament. Kitagawa earning American Conference Midfielder of the Year honors, looking for Winder forward. Knocked away from Capria Winder. It will be a throw in. Aurora's ability to get their fullbacks high into the attack, like Capria Winder, 41 in Navy, that'll be crucial tonight for Jen Larrick's side.
Right now they're trying to lock it in. How can you utilize the space, try to switch it to that far side?
Looking for the combination centrally. Kitagawa got the touch off. It's steered back toward Kyla Holmes, who will put a right foot into this one and clear the lines, at least for a moment. Helped back along by Kane. Almost 1,300 career minutes in the USLW League for Ella Kane across 2 years in Detroit City. Was part of that 2024 Le Rouge side who won the Great Forest Division. Ended up hosting the Central Conference playoffs that year. Aurora went out to Detroit and famed Keyworth Stadium. Leach will turn this one back out wide, and Aurora will reset things. One thing Jen Larrick told us about this Aurora FC side, especially in 2026, is, of course, for years been part of the DNA of Aurora, valuing possession of the ball, that she really wants this team to enjoy the possession more in 2026. It's worked up ahead. Over to Winder, the layoff internally, trying to find Boughton, knocked out of play, and Aurora will earn the throw in. Thalia Marisi gave it up. She'll get it right back via Winder, who funnels it wide. Here's Boughton. Boughton laterally across the top of the area, trying to find Kitagawa, who's dispossessed, and Aurora will have yet another throw in. Going back to that idea of enjoying the possession, Aurora, they sure enjoyed the possession a season ago. Almost 60% possession last year en route to another playoff appearance. It was the 3rd highest possession share of any squad in the USLW League in 2025. This time they'll try their hand from the far channel. Trying to find Carfonta on the give back. Carrying it forward now is Aurora. Options opening up. Trying to play Winder in. She cuts it central. On it is Kitagawa! There it is! The opener for Aurora. Welcome back, USLW League. And welcome Ai Kitagawa to Egan. 1-0 Aurora FC.
Jake, she got one in the preseason matchup here at TCO, and now getting another one under her belt in this stadium. She is just ready for that moment. But I really like that this Minnesota Aurora team was not selfish with the ball. They were able to play her in the middle and be able to allow her to capitalize on that moment.
Kitagawa opening her account via this goal.
Yeah, you see that pass getting inside to her. She had to still work it off the defender, but ultimately she's able to net that opener and get things going.
That'll put the fans on their feet early on in this contest. Inside 10 minutes, Aurora FC have gone up a goal. A season ago, they outscored Rochester FC by a combined 5-0 across 270 minutes of football. It's been 11 consecutive halves since Rochester FC have even tallied a goal against their in-state rivals. Safe to say, we talked about the importance of the first 10-15 minutes. Jen Larrick has to be a happy manager on these Aurora touchlines for the way her team has started.
Yeah, getting a goal in that first 10 minutes is huge. Momentum, you're getting energy, you're really allowing your team to take that breather. They're put themselves in position to have that second to make sure they're taking the right plays.
It will be an Aurora throw-in deep in toward this final third. Boughton thought about it, instead defers to Capriel Winder, the Utah State Aggie. Worked back along into the path of Hannah Boughton and instead steered out of play. Your Rochester FC, you have not started the first 10 minutes of this contest the way Eric Field is hoping. You get punched in the mouth like he told us this Heartland division will do to you. How do you coalesce and readjust so early into the contest?
I think right now, of course, I know there hasn't been a lot of bleeding 1-0 game. Not huge. Has to allow his team to settle in. They did not score against this team last season. So what can you do to find one in the back of the net and be able to build from that? So just one goal at a time, Jake.
That'll draw a whistle from Emily Zilla. First whistle of the evening, aside from the opening whistle of this contest, and it results in a Rochester FC free kick. Worked ahead. Here's Ella Kane again, trying to shift to that outside. Doesn't have the numbers. Winder going to ground. Well timed, and will knock that one out of play. It'll be a throw right pinned up against that near corner flag. Kane looking for the toss back into the area. Still on it is Rochester FC. The header along, not clear yet. Put in front. Knocked around by Aurora FC, just trying to find a way to clear these lines. And Olivia Albert will do her part to help do exactly that. Now up forward to Sky Leach, who has some space to move.
That back line super composed. Nothing was flustering them, able to work together to get that out of danger.
One thing Jen Larrick was pretty transparent about when we caught up with her were the difficulties of, it's such a short season, and especially having so much newness. That emphasis becomes on developing chemistry on the fly in a hurry. But she feels like that the structure in place here at Aurora, where they have preseason meetings via Zoom, via Teams, before these players even arrive to Eagan, it helps develop that chemistry very quickly. And now Aurora, they are playing like a seemingly well-oiled team, pinned deep in their own end, tapped toward goal. And hugging that near post was Kyla Holmes, able to deny Aurora a second goal.
But those next 10 minutes after a goal is scored are really important too, because it can allow a team to build off of that. They just felt that high of being able to put the ball in the back of the net. They want some more. But also defensively, the team that just got scored on, you're always looking for what that looks like to use that to counterattack, to try to get the Aurora FC team when they're least expecting it.
Twin Cities Orthopedics and Training House, powered by TCO, are proud to be the official sports medicine performance providers for Minnesota Aurora FC. Together, TCO and Training House are trusted by some of the biggest names in sports and bring that same level of care to our athletes. This one worked ahead. Here's Kitagawa trying to find the cutback, and it's deflected Our Aurora sideline team is led by team physician Dr. Christine Heikus, athletic trainer Danielle Armstrong, and sports performance coach Erica Golsner, physical therapist Kelsey Majerus. Thank you, TCO and Trading House, for being a part of our team. Visit tcomn.com to learn more. Off the short corner, Rochester struggling to clear the lines. It's Boughton going for it from distance. Took a deflection out wide. That is where Sky Leach, with her presence there, will force a clearance out from Rochester, and a throw-in earned by Aurora again. Rush cuts it over, trying to find Kitagawa. Back forward, running onto it is Flavie Duby. That's a good ball. Carfonta, edge of the 18. They're bunching up a little bit, though, in this final third. And Zarina Markovic trying to carry it along out of pressure.
Yeah, it's going to help him now. Looks like going to work it from that back line, create some more space.
Here's Taylor Fox now. She'll play it forward. Fox spent time in the Orlando Pride Academy system, playing with their academy team as well as the U.S. Youth National Team. On the move is Aurora FC, trying to thread this forward to Morisi. Morisi doubling back, pinned there, and ultimately out of play. It will go for a throw again to Aurora. Rush, back to Leach, starts, stops, starts again, now at the byline, looks to square this back into play. Onto it is Boughton for goal, and it's stopped by Kyla Holmes. Second save of this first half for Rochester's netminder.
To still be able to get a shot off of it, you saw how close she was to the ball, but ultimately able to still at least give that ball a chance, send it on net, make the keeper work for it.
Looking to turn this upfield, play it into the path of Kane, and they do. Back in front, Fox off the line, will jump on it. Cutting out the opportunity. Had Gianna Hall crashing right in. Hall is one of those numerous returners for this Rochester FC side. 11 appearances, 725 minutes last season. Meanwhile, it's the goal scorer, Ai Kitagawa. Carfonta trying to thread it back through. That one out of the reach of Duby. It will force another clearance, that time from Markovic. The 19-year-old already with some international caps under her belt, called to the Bosnia-Herzegovina U19 side for UEFA Euro qualifiers earlier this year. They are not alone in that regard. Aurora seeing Talia Corey, one of their newcomers, called to the Mexico U23 national team. Corey will head back to the Mexico U23s later on this year as the flag will come up. Aurora just skipping that ball past the far touchline. Almost 20 minutes in, it was a goal in the 9th minute for Ai Kitagawa that broke the deadlock, and now it's Kitagawa on it, looking for a counter-attacking strike. Saved initially, the net's empty, Leach can't finish. Ultimately worked out for another throw to Aurora. How about this attack? Relentless right now.
And when it rains, it pours. They're trying to keep this energy in the final third going. But as far as the back line, though, I'm also really impressed because ultimately they were aware the keeper was down. They knew they had to be that last defender, stop that ball from even going towards net because it would have went in without the keeper there.
Aurora will get a corner. First of the night for Aurora FC. They had the fourth most in the W League last year. They have a short option going away from it. Swung to the near post, and that one will roll out. Rochester FC able to come away unscathed. But the Loons, right now, they are struggling to progress fluidly through the midfield. Eric Field, he had highlighted Aurora's ability in their midfield rotations to congest things. And they're having some success, Minnesota are, so far in this contest.
Yeah, I would think that halftime talk is going to be talking through that, how he thinks they're going to be able to open that up, allow themselves to get in that attacking half more. And right now, still a lot of time in the first half, but that's finally the time he'll be able to really send that message home.
There was a whistle for a foul. Peyton Beam, the St. Louis native, initially looked ready to take this free kick off that whistle.
Thank you.
Bowden into a pocket of space. Marisi running onto it, and Belia Marisi able to win a whistle for Aurora FC. Play quickly back underway. That is one core tenet of a Jen Larrick coach team. They do want to move quickly with this ball. You will see that a lot tonight on restarts, that they want to try to take advantage and catch Rochester a bit flat-footed. Bowden muscled off the ball. Aurora fans pleading for a whistle. Despite those pleas, none comes in. Transitioning to the attack, it's Rochester FC. An early ball ahead. He was trying to pick out Esbach, and instead finds an Aurora defender who clears it away, and out it goes for a throw-in.
That back line shifting nicely for Minnesota Aurora. Every ball they're trying to send up and over, they're able to drop back and handle it no problem.
Here's Gianna Hall onto it, looking to play it back out wide. He's able to find Zarina Markovic. It was knocked out of play. Rochester FC will have their second corner of the evening. Eric Field told us that number 7 in blue and gray, Zarina Markovic, was probably their most improved player year over year in training. She's really stood out these last few weeks, helped set up a corner here for the Loons. It'll be Huckabee to take. Huckabee in swinging ball, trickling around over on this near side.
Take another set piece that they allowed to just go right through the box, not having a big touch on it.
Now another corner awarded, third of the night here for Rochester. Aurora were trying to muscle Ella Kane off that ball, but unsuccessful there. And now the Loons, the second bite of the apple here, looking for that elusive equalizer. They're also still looking for their first shot on target of the evening. Have just the one shot so far. Huckabee again. Lofts this into the crowd. Second ball hammered over the bar and out by their captain, Rachel Jackson. And that'll bring about an end to that. Aurora able to come away undamaged from 2 consecutive corners conceded to Rochester.
Yeah, you have to take what you can get. They've allowed the ball to go right through the box a couple times prior to that pass corner kick where they finally got a shot on it, but nothing on goal, and that has to do with not getting over the ball. You have to have your head over the ball, your body over the ball to be able to keep that ball low.
Kitagawa dropping deep into the build, was able to swing it over to Marisi, and now forward, here's Winder running onto it. Winder wants the cutback, and instead it'll be a corner for Minnesota. So far, it's been a contest of set pieces. Second corner of the night upcoming here for Aurora FC. They weren't just good at stacking up set piece opportunities last year. They were good at converting off their set pieces a season ago. 6 set piece goals in 2025.
And they went short corner last time. You're seeing how the defense aware of that now. I'm assuming they go direct.
They do have Kitagawa floating around. Instead, they will drive this back post. Trying to serve that second ball, and a bit flubbed there. Still careening around. Takes a deflection on the effort from Olivia Albert. Kitagawa shuffling, tries to play it back through, deflected high off that defender, and now we got a whistle. Official pointing to the spot, and it did catch the hand of Peyton Beam. Despite the protests from number 4 in gray, it will be a penalty awarded, and Kitagawa will step up, a chance to convert and bag a brace in her official debut. Aurora 2 for 2 on penalties a season ago. Kitagawa, the approach, and scores. 2-0 Aurora FC.
I have to say, I did not expect the second goal to come off of a handball, but ultimately both these teams now have to adjust. What does this look like? Minnesota Aurora now up by 2, and they're doing exactly what they wanted to do. The game plan coming into it in these early minutes, they've been able to capitalize.
A no-nonsense penalty for Kitagawa. Just driving that one right through. Well, there's one way to introduce yourselves to the home fans in your debut, and that is to grab 2 goals in the span of about 16 minutes, which is exactly what Kitagawa has done. Anybody who's followed the Memphis Tigers program and Kitagawa, the native of Itami City in Japan, will know that Kitagawa, she can put goals on the board in a hurry. 26 career goal contributions at the collegiate level, 15 goals of her own. And now if you're Rochester FC, you're just looking for some semblance of a lifeline here as we come up closer to the half-hour mark elapsed.
And all those matchups last season, it was 2 goals was the most that Minnesota Aurora had scored against Rochester FC. But now lots of time to possibly put in some more. The biggest thing for Rochester FC is to try to shake this one off, not think about the score. You have to work together, move this ball up, and get dangerous passes in that final third.
Aurora trying to carry it forward. Duby will have the throw, quickly finding Sky Leach. 75 career NCAA appearances for Sky Leach, almost 6,000 career minutes. Been a season at Kentucky last year where she crossed over with Aurora FC all-time leading goal scorer Kat Rapp, who, along with Leach, helped lead the Wildcats to the NCAA tournament collegiately. Kat Rapp also moving up to the top, the ranks of the full-time pros earlier this year, along with former Aurora manager Nicole Lukic in the Gainbridge Super League. That knocked out a play. Jessica Dodd, the Lindenwood Lion, able to charge over and boot that out clear. Brown in that half space, trying to feed it forward, was looking for Marisi, and recollected by Mariana Brito. Brito set to play her first year of Division I college soccer at Nevada. Former JUCO All-American a season ago, number 2 for Rochester FC. Here is Winder with it now. Connecting with Kitagawa, 2 goals in this first half. So far, one of the biggest things that has bolstered Aurora in this first half has been their ability to move this ball side to side. when out of possession, Rochester at times, they're dropping into more of a back five, trying to have more of that 5-4-1 style shape when out of possession. That can mean that there's a lot of congestedness in the midfield, but Aurora starting to over-rotate the Loons. Here's Leach, full head of steam, feeding it forward. Kitagawa able to win it back, peeled back. It's Morisi, misses high and out of play.
I almost thought with the steam that Sky Leach had going up the center that she possibly could have taken that one on herself.
Kyla Holmes puts it back into play as we come up closer to that half-hour mark. 2 saves, 2 goals allowed for Holmes so far in this first 45 minutes. On the turn, Leach trying to find Duby. Duby squares, and diving on it is Holmes again. Space to move here for Olivia Rush. One area that Jen Larrick, and she included Olivia Rush in that conversation, felt like was a strength of this year's team was that midfield unit. On the underlapping run, here's Leach. Leach surveys, stops on the end line. Now Leach trying to roll it back top of the area onto Morisi. Connecting with Kitagawa, back wide, it's Duby, plays it in front. No one on the receiving end, falls all the way through, and that is where Sky Leach will pick it up. Beam running out of room, tries to clear it away. Instead, it will be a throw in. You have to give a tip of the cap, though, to Ella Kane. They are playing her up front as part of this front three in this 4-3-3, but she's covering a lot of ground right now, not afraid to track all the way back, help out on the defensive side of things.
My college coach played a lot of 4-3-3, and I was one of those players tracking that distance of the field. It's not easy.
A high work rate so far for Ella Kane. It's turned over, though. Counter quickly developing. Kitagawa wanted to go back out wide with it. Now it's Carfonta. She'll peel it back. Kira Carfonta off the woodwork and out.
What a shot. Definitely felt the power off of that ball for sure.
Carfonta, one appearance just 36 minutes a season ago with Detroit City in the USLW League. Makes the jump over to the Heartland Division. And she is already making an impact, nearly adding a third to Aurora's tally. They win it back in the attacking half. Here's to Leah Morisi. Good diagonal ball over to Leach. Now Leach, they're going to play it forward over to Morisi. Telegraph pass, and jumping on it is Rochester FC. This was an area that Eric Field told us earlier in the week that last year they were more of a finesse defensive team. They relied too heavily on the counter. He wanted to see them spend more time in the final third. They just have not been able to do that. Aside from their 3 corners, that's really been it for Rochester in terms of their final third entries, as we get a whistle for a foul.
A lot of it is credit to Minnesota Aurora, just being able to possess through the midfield, take a lot of this clock, using it in that attacking half, not really giving Rochester FC those chances.
It's starting to get expansive here for Aurora. Now they go back narrow, looking for Leach in behind, running out of room though, and it will find the end line for A Kyla Holmes goal kick. Holmes, she is no stranger to the USLW League. Plays at Yale, but it's been a season with Morris Elite out in the Eastern Conference. 2 appearances, just shy of 120 minutes played in her W League career. That roster construction was something that Eric Field had reiterated a lot to us when we talked to him, that he felt like it was a more robust roster construction this year for Rochester FC. Not just returning players, but bringing over an abundance of players with USLW League experience. One of those players not in the starting 11 today, but is available for selection on the bench, Eloise Stone, who played out in the Western Conference for the highly touted San Francisco Glens organization. Have to imagine that, considering this scoreline, she might feature in the second half to try to help bring a spark off the bench for Rochester. But still, just about 10 minutes plus added time till we get there. Aurora asking more questions. Leach waiting for Duby, trying to turn that corner again, and the pass just out of her reach, ultimately turned over by Aurora FC. Jen Larrick's side, though, they are not content just with the 2-0 lead. You can see how aggressive they're being when in possession. They've just one defender back when they are in this attacking half, and it's Amelia Brown providing the coverage. Conventional wisdom would tell you that means there's a lot of space in behind for Rochester.
Yeah, I think for them, that's something they really need to be thinking about, especially sitting down by 2 goals. How can you try to allow those up-top players to get in behind, knowing that counterattack is open and definitely needed to get back into this game?
Boughton trying to lead the way back in for Kitagawa, who took a tumble, no whistle sounding. Collision there on the aerial duel. Betsy Huckabee, former Racing Louisville and Indy 11 midfielder, will earn a whistle for Rochester FC. Indy 11, that's a name that will elicit some not so great feelings in Egan. A little bit of a rivalry developing there between those clubs. Aurora eliminating Indy 11 back in 2022. They've had some good playoff battles. Played a preseason friendly a season ago. Now to be looking for a whistle, as there's the rest of Aurora. Aurora coming into 2026 and really somewhat unfamiliar territory. Just the 2 returners back. It's the fewest returners year over year from a roster in club history. Jelena Zbilic, Angela Gutierrez, those 2 returners. Late arriving run. Here's Boughton stepping to the side. Now trying to turn away from Beam. Served in toward goal. It'll take a hop on the service from Winder and into the possession of Kyla Holmes. But Jen Larrick told us that means that those players, specifically Jelena Zbilic, having to step up in much more of a leadership role. Zbilic, she has been the captain the last couple of years, shared that duty a season ago with Taylor Kane, who has moved on to the professional ranks in her career. But Jen Larrick told us earlier in the week that she, of course, Zbilic, had Larrick's vote to be captain again, but she was so impressed with Jelena Zbilic because she came in and she earned it from these 20 newcomers to this team who earlier this week voted to name her 2026 captain.
She's a player that's been here since the inaugural season, and I think that is what shows up when you think of a player who can emulate all those core values to these new players. They're seeing someone who already has the head start on what this club and what this program is looking to be this year.
Morisi trying to dance through defenders there. Ended up losing it at the last moment, and here is Ella Kane. Good connection forward, able to find Huckabee. Huckabee's pass goes glancing off the boots of Gianna Hall, and now quickly going back the other way is Aurora FC. Kitagawa, she has the 2 goals, but both Sky Leach and Hannah Boughton, they have really been the initiators so far in this midfield. Those 2 outside midfielders on the left and the right, respectively. Here is one of that duo, and Hannah Boughton joining Aurora FC. Boughton is from time in Florida with UCF. Looking for this pass over the top. Winder, defender got her lines wrong. And fortunately for Rochester FC, Kyla Holmes able to sprawl on top of it.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Leach and Boughton in that preseason matchup here at TCO. They were those initiators, helping that ball get forward into the final third, and I think there's a lot more even to come from them this season.
It was a 5-1 result in Aurora's lone home preseason friendly of 2026. Went on the road, took on Kansas City Current after those teams played here at TCO Stadium a season ago. But Salvo SC out of the WPSL, they presented a good challenge for Aurora. Very physical team, played a lot older than their average roster age. And now here is Stubbe. The advantage was played, and it is cleared away. Now we get a whistle, and Emily Zilla has seen enough. There's been a bit of an increase in the chippiness these last few minutes, a couple extra shoves after plays end between these teams. At the end of the day, it is an in-state rivalry. Both coaching staffs talked about that with us earlier in the week, that it's important to obviously win all your matches, but win your in-state matchup specifically.
Well, should it be expected? I mean, what I said in the open, Jake, I said, he's saying the Heartland Division will punch you in the mouth if you let them, and he put his players up to that challenge knowing they were going to have some physicality coming right back at him.
Albert puts it back into play, and we are underway again off the foul. This one in front, tap toward goal, and stopped again by Kyla Holmes. Aurora FC with their 6th shot on target of this opening 45 minutes. It's now 4 saves for Kyla Holmes. They still do have the 2-0 advantage as we inch closer to that halftime whistle. Well, you mentioned that Heartland Division. Once again, it is ever-changing in the offseason. Some of the familiar faces remain. The River Lights, who Aurora have had a really spirited rivalry with in the regular season the last few years. Rochester FC, RKC, Third Coast. But new faces as well. Raleigh Madison, Rockford Raptors, Edgewater Castle. They all enter the fold. Aurora, after this contest, as it will be a throw for Rochester FC, they will head on the road to take on Raleigh Madison at Breeze Stevens Field. An area that Aurora do have some experience playing in. Played the W League Showcase against Chicago City Dutch Lions last year.
They have 3 straight road games ahead until finally coming back to TCO on June 4th.
They cap off that 3-match road swing on the road at Aurora, Illinois to take on River Light, a team that's given them some issues the last few seasons. River Light and Aurora playing to a draw here at TCO Stadium a season ago. I remember going back to the 2024 season, late in the year, real playoff-like atmosphere, a 3-2 win for Aurora. River Light making it real interesting there late with a goal in the 80th minute to cut the deficit down to 1. But they've had some really fascinating contests the last few seasons, River Light and Aurora have. Definitely one of those that if you're an Aurora FC fan, you want to circle on your calendar when those teams match up, regardless of home or away. And we get a whistle here late behind the play from Emily Zilla, and it will be a free kick to Rochester FC. Inside 2 minutes plus added time to go until the halftime whistle. Blythe, how crucial are these final handful of minutes for Rochester? Trying to put together some momentum going into the half.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. If you can find the back of the net here in these final minutes, it really can boost the confidence. It can boost the morale going to be able to talk to your head coach with something to work on. And ultimately, these last couple minutes, you can't allow another one. I think that's even bigger, Jake.
Kitagawa will slow the pace up, waiting for support. And now getting past that defender, Kitagawa Bit of an early touch there. Trying to prepare possibly for a shot. Ultimately cleared out, and Aurora will have the throw in. Flavie Duby caroms right back to her. Former Conference USA Freshman of the Year. Duby rolls it in front, tapped, and it's in!
What did I say, Jake? I said don't allow another one if you're Rochester FC. If you don't want this morale going into talking to your coach at halftime. But right now, the Minnesota Aurora are firing on all cylinders, able to go up 3-0 here before half. And that is quite impressive for these early minutes, these early moments in the regular season for them.
Put it in front, and good things will happen. Hannah Boughton getting in on the fun and opening her account. 3-0 Aurora.
She also had some success in that preseason matchup, and you see right there, she puts herself in position to be able to tap this one in, and that's the type of player you want running it through.
A clinical first half performance for Jen Larrick's Minnesota Aurora FC as we come up on the end of the opening 45 minutes of the W League season. Advantage played here. Officially 2 minutes of added time, so says the fourth official here in Eagan, Minnesota. 3 goals on 7 shots on target for Aurora FC. There's Taylor Fox. She'll roll it forward. Still has yet to face a shot. That was something that the former Taylor Kane, dealt with a lot last year for Aurora FC. Was such a good netminder, kept clean sheet after clean sheet, sharing some time in net with Nadia Cooper, who went on to sign an injury replacement contract with the Houston Dash a season ago of the NWSL. But I remember just offhandedly chatting with Taylor once, and she had brought up the fact that it can be hard as a goalkeeper. When you don't face a lot of shots, to stay active, engaged, involved. You get cold back there, right? Just standing around. But it's a real testament to the defending in front of her that she has yet to face a shot. Still just 1 overall shot for Rochester FC. It was a theme last year. 2 of the 3 matchups, Rochester held to just 1 shot on target or fewer across 3 total contests in 2025.
I mean, the goalkeeper has the best vision on the field. If you keep yourself engaged, talking to your team, it helps everyone. And that's one way that, as a keeper, you can try to stay ready for that moment if you're helping direct your team throughout that rest of the time.
Waiting the halftime whistle here from Emily Zilla. Played back through. It's Boughton. Keeper comes out, and it's cleared away. A massive save for Kyla Holmes just before the halftime whistle, which comes in from our center referee. And we have reached the intermission break. Aurora, 3 goals, including a first half brace from Ai Kitagawa. They've blown it open in match number 1. We'll head to break. The halftime report on the other side. Aurora FC, they lead it 3-0 against their in-state rivals. 45 minutes in the books and 45 to come here in Eagan.
Stone.
Aurora fans, you're watching the Fox 9 Plus Halftime Report.
Well, hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Aurora Halftime Show. I'm Tim Blotz. What a wonderful day to kick off the start of the 2026 season here for the Minnesota Aurora, and it looks like this is going to continue too. Our meteorologist Erica Mrazek joins us now with how low the temperatures will drop for the rest of the evening and to get you set up for the weekend too. This is looking pretty good.
It does look pretty good. Don't let the overnight temperature scare you. So temperatures 60s today, will drop into the 40s for most tonight, a few spots staying in the 50s. So that's pretty close to seasonable. And then the day tomorrow brings you a high of 66. Few scattered showers here and there, potentially some rumblers later in the evening, but then that all clears out by your Saturday morning. And then that makes way for a gorgeous Saturday afternoon, and that just starts the stretch of some lovely weather, highs in the 70s and then even up to the 80s by next week. So a couple days 80s, feeling about 10 to 15 degrees above average. So warmth on the way. Tim?
All right, sounds good, Erica. You know, there's a lot of excitement for the Aurora's 5th season now. I can't believe we're already here at number 5. Our Dawn Mitchell sat down with their president ahead of the season opener and has more on what they're looking forward to in this edition of Unscripted.
And welcome to another edition of Unscripted. I am Dawn Mitchell, and today we are talking Aurora soccer with their amazing president, Sarah Hassoun. She's joining us now. And Sarah, thank you so much. I know you have a busy season coming up, so thanks for coming in here.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's that time of the year, though, where things are just starting to ramp up. How crazy is it for you right now?
It is crazy, and it's just going to get crazier, but I always say this is the most fun part of the job. I think with Aurora and having a longer off season, we spend so long in our office hoping and planning and talking and conceptualizing all of these fun things. And so when it's finally time to put things out into the world and start seeing our fans again and seeing all of the energy again, it's just so much fun.
The season's coming up soon, May 21st. It all kicks off. 5 years. And I know that you've been here just for a shorter amount of time, but everyone's calling it like the high five or having some nice little terms with it. But the impact that this team has made, not only on the young women who play, but just on the community and everyone involved, has been enormous for 5 years. And then under your tutelage, the past year and a half or so has been amazing. Congrats on your promotion to president from chief of staff. It must be a bit of a whirlwind, though, for you.
It has been a whirlwind. And you know, it's funny, it feels like it's been longer. My 1-year anniversary is just right about now. So I have only really been here for a year, but I think seeing how quickly Aurora grows, it's sort of no wonder that it feels like so much has happened in the single year that I've been here. But no, I think to your point, seeing the impact that this team has had, and as we're in our 5-year anniversary, obviously we're doing a lot of looking back and reflecting and thinking about where this team came from and where we're going. And I can't help but always think about that first meeting of 9 people who were just big soccer fans and who just thought that this community deserved a women's soccer team that they could be proud of. And boy, were they right. Look at where we are 5 years later.
I'm so looking forward to this upcoming season. It's a joy to have you in studio and see you face to face. And of course, we'll be out with the team. But I just really want to thank you for what the team has brought to the community and as well to Fox 9. But thank you for these young women that you are giving a space to grow and to be themselves and to play a sport and just to become whatever they want to be in the future. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I mean, we would not be able to offer those opportunities without our community and without the folks who support this team. So really the thanks goes to all of you.
All right, well, hands down and fingernails down.
There you go.
Right, thank you so much. It's awesome. Have a great season.
Thank you.
Such a great conversation there. Dawn Mitchell sitting down with Aurora President Sarah Hassoun. And for the full edition of that interview, you can watch it all on the Fox Local app on your smart TV. Throughout this season, we want to remind you that Fox 9 Plus is your home for Aurora soccer. These are the games that you can find on TV and online. Up next, the second half of the game. Have yourself a great rest of the night.
Back in Eagan, Minnesota, we've reached the half between Rochester FC and Minnesota Aurora FC. A 3-pack of goals for the home side in the opening 45 minutes. Alongside Blythe Whaley, Jake Griffith, glad to have you alongside us. And Blythe, as we take a look at our first half stats, what were your biggest takeaways from the way Aurora capitalized on their opportunities?
I mean, can you really blame anyone for saying the 3 goals stands out the most? Of course, Minnesota Aurora up in the early goings, but you see it from the shots on goal. Minnesota Aurora has been putting that ball exactly where it needs to be able to give it a chance. As far as corners, I think what's interesting, Jake, is both these teams have forced the defense to kick it out that back line, allow themselves that set piece, and right now, Rochester FC needs to come out here in the second half, not take a look at that scoreboard, but just taking it 1 goal at a time. How can they work that ball into that final third?
As for Aurora FC, that is efficiency at the highest order. 7 shots on target. They get 3 goals out of it from 2 different goal scorers. And what more can you say about Ai Kitagawa, who opens her career with not just a goal in the 9th minute, but then about 15 minutes later, completing the brace. You start to run out of superlatives for the way she played in those first 45.
Yeah, when you can already have 2 goals under your belt in those early minutes, you have that confidence, you have that extra boost. Hey, playing on this team for the first season for her, that helps everyone on this team have confidence in her up top to be able to feed that ball. But what also, Jake, I think is interesting is in that home opener against Rochester FC last season, they also had a PK in the first half that helped them go up. And right now, how can they keep getting that ball, putting it in a dangerous spot, getting it inside the box? That just allows chances like that to happen again and again.
Well, we have reached the intermission break, and why not get you caught up on how things went in that first 45 minutes? Here are our first half highlights, and the highlights really showing all Aurora in those opening 45. It was Ai Kitagawa in the 9th minute doing just this.
Yeah, just puts a missile up and over the keeper. That is exactly the type of play you want, and of course netting the PK, putting Aurora up 2-0.
And then just before that halftime whistle, it's Hannah Boughton able to redirect that ball past Kyla Holmes, and that made it 3. And that is where we stand at the intermission break.
Before Minnesota Aurora ultimately coming into the second half, they're being able to come together, they're being able to talk to each other, and I think it's important because that they got that last goal. Because sometimes when you're sitting on a 2-0 game, you can maybe draw back a little bit, and if Rochester FC is able to score 1, that game starts to get interesting.
Rochester FC, a lot of work to do to climb out of this 3-goal hole. They closed last year with 5 consecutive defeats at the end of the 2025 season. Still, though, it was good enough to finish them 4th in the Heartland Division table, which ended up being their highest finish to a season in club history.
Something they'll want to build off of for sure, and that comes down to today, trying to get this game closer.
Both teams out of the halftime dressing room. Emily Zilla, our center referee, has them both on the pitch, and we are ready to go for half number 2. And these fans are raring to go here inside TCO Stadium. It's been almost a calendar year since the last time they were treated to USLW League Soccer. It was the national semifinal in July of 2025. There's the whistle. And the second half officially underway for Aurora FC and Rochester FC. A 3-0 lead. Aurora making 2 changes at that 45-minute break. Maya Tabion will come on, and Jeanette Fieldson will also come on. Aurora, as is traditional, content to build out from the back. And now here they go up that far touchline. Rush trying to double back, instead turns it over. Markovic jumping on top of it. The 19-year-old Zarina Markovic leading the charge in. Markovic was really one of the lone bright spots in that opening 45 minutes for Rochester as it's poked out. It will be a throw-in. Had a couple good runs, some good passes to open up opportunities for the Loons. And a change of possession now will occur via this throw-in. Aurora back on top of it.
Rochester FC just wants to lock it in right now, keep it in the attacking half. Minnesota Aurora made it difficult for them to spend a ton of time there in the first half.
Loon's second-year manager Eric Thiel, he had reiterated that bit of a tactical shift coming into this season of trying to spend more time in possession in the final third. Felt like using Rachel Jackson in a pivot role would help do exactly that. They just haven't been able to consistently piece together enough passes to get into that final third. And now here's Fieldson on the wing. On the turn, Leach dodges one. Still Sky Leach. Options here. Leach cuts it back inside, rolls it in front. Here's Tavion on the turn. Fed back forward. Kitagawa misses wide. Had her eyes on a debut hat trick, not to be had, and the lead stays 3 for Aurora.
But she's found herself in the right place to be able to be dangerous, to put this ball towards net. And right now, coming out of the gates, she already has a couple goals. She didn't need another one necessarily. Her team doesn't need another one. But I'm sure from the positioning that she's been able to have, she will get another one in this game.
Kitagawa, the former Osaka Province High School Player of the Year prior to her time collegiately back in her native country of Japan. Here's Tavion. She's carrying this one forward centrally. Maya Tavion named USLW League Player to Watch earlier this preseason. More on that in a moment. Early ball in. Fieldson will run onto it. Former James Madison Duke is Jeanette Fieldson. Fieldson, she'll swing this back stick, and it falls out the other side. It's hard to pinpoint one specific area tonight that's been a strength for Aurora. It's really been a lot of strengths in a lot of different places, but their wing play so far, their ability to take advantage of the wide areas, has been crucial to this success.
Yeah, and I also think they've been using each other really nicely. They're playing that ball simple when they need to be able to work up the field, but also finding that long ball, finding that switch.
Up ahead, looking for Leach in front, off the post, and cleared off the line.
That defense probably finally exhaling as that ball comes awfully close to rolling in for a fourth.
Well, Eric Thiel had told us earlier this week that he feels like this year's team is a bit grittier. They're willing to make that additional run in. They needed it here. Leach almost making it 4.
Yeah, good awareness by the defender, making sure that played that ball out, allowed her team to be able to regroup.
Meanwhile, Aurora FC, they earn a whistle and a free kick out of it as Jeanette Fieldson and Kira Carfanta shadowing over it. Fieldson backs off. It'll be Carfanta. Carfanta, the reigning Atlantic 10 Defensive Player of the Year during her time with Dayton a season ago. Also, former Detroit City FC defender. Carfanta into the land of chaos, knotted down, but it'll roll significantly wide.
Probably could have had a little more movement in those players running onto it. You don't want to get that ball when you're standing still. You want to have that momentum forward towards net.
Ball pinballing around in the midfield. Markovic had it. She's quickly dispossessed, and off to the races is Aurora FC. Leach, options all around. It's Boughton, saved and cleared away.
This one doesn't convert to a goal, but I like how Leach and Boughton played with each other, found that slight pass up to her right inside the box.
Aurora's rest defense on the other side of things, their ability to have that proper coverage in behind, just stymieing another counter there for Rochester. It's part of that double pivot we talked about at the top of this broadcast, why it was so important. Now here's Leach on the right-hand side. Good combination. Tabion back over to Leach, all via Hannah Boughton. Now Winder from distance, parried away. Gabriel Winder seeing an opening and almost taking advantage. Another stop for Kyla Holmes.
I always love when a shot makes the goalkeeper work, having to move off that flat foot to make a save.
Into Tabion off the throw-in. Here's Tabion toying with the defender. Winder out wide, back to Fieldson. Still Fieldson cutting around to her left. The layoff. Here's Leach. Over to Boughton. Good rotations here. The cross turned away from Hannah Boughton. Aurora had a lot of success at earning throw-ins, not just in the attacking half, but in toward the final third in the opening 45. Here's Boughton off a throw, trying to pick out Kitagawa. And now a chance here for Ella Kane to get on the ball. Kane pushes that one forward, a bit too far forward, and it's out of her reach. Late whistle from Emily Zilla. We have seen a booking going against Rochester FC. It was Zarina Markovic being handed a yellow in that first 45 minutes. Despite that, we haven't seen a high level of physicality throughout this contest. Happening just in fits and spurts so far. We close in on the hour elapsed. It's Rochester FC on it now. Gianna Hall, former Nevada Wolfpack and North Dakota forward. That is an example of what has been the biggest bane right now to Rochester's existence. It's compounded by the fact that they are down 3 goals, but they're just not holding on to the ball enough right now.
Yeah, you see the limited possession. They have to be on their A game every time they do get the ball, as they try to feed it up here.
Thumped ahead, Markovic trying to run onto it, and instead goes sliding down. Couldn't keep that ball in the lines of play. And now Rochester FC preparing a pair of changes at the next available opportunity.
You're seeing just how quickly they lost possession, and now Minnesota Aurora back with it, ticking away some of this precious time.
Dangerous pass back to Boughton. Right now, Rochester starting to throw more numbers forward into this press. That press was something that, going back to that evolution of Rochester FC tactically, that Eric Field had said that they wanted to try to be more of a pressing team this year. Obviously understand the moments when to go forward with that press. Said he felt like this team doesn't have just the roster depth to be an all-out heavy metal football type of team that's going to press you for 90 full minutes. Good ball through. Here's Fieldson. Fieldson is in! It's a fourth for Aurora FC. Jeanette Fieldson opens her account. And Minnesota scoring goals for fun at home.
Just absolute composure. You see Fieldson sticking with the mission, going towards net. As the keeper comes out on her, she still has the finesse to be able to play this one in. Fieldson sending it.
Holmes had tried to come out and influence that shot. Not quick enough to deny Jeanette Fieldson, the super substitute, coming on in the second half and making an impact for Aurora FC. Aurora, meanwhile, before this contest gets back started, they will counter the double change for Rochester with 3 of their own. Savannah Malley will come on for the Loons. Meanwhile, Aurora will bring on Kalawayongi, Hadley Barrera, and Caitlin Slocum. Ruby Ortiz, the other change coming on for Rochester FC. So first 2 changes used by Rochester. Aurora, they have made 5. And Jen Larrick, despite some of those changes coming into the start of the second half, the drum continues to beat on for Aurora FC, adding a 4th to their tally. One back by Schofield, trying to carve an opening. Well, Kane able to clean things up. Now back to Schofield, who goes forward with it. Malley spent 2023, 2024 collegiately at Arizona State, part of the St. Louis Scott Gallagher Academy. Very highly touted academy system down in St. Louis. Aurora did not make those trifecta of changes moments ago during that substitution window. Jen Larrick was a little frustrated there that Aurora wasn't able to get those 3 changes on. And now this contest will be held, so Aurora can do exactly that, as that ball had gone out. And now Aurora will bring on Slocum, Iongi, and Hadley Barrera.
Jake, something also that Eric Field told us was that he thought playing at TCO Stadium felt like an optical illusion. And it's interesting to think about when teams have to come into this stadium, they feel that pressure a little faster with this crowd, with this environment that they're having to play in.
We talk about that TCO Stadium environment. It's an environment that's been so highly touted over the last couple of seasons. Last year, you look at some of the attendance numbers, 2 matches north of 6,000 in attendance. The rest of them 5,000 or more. Of course, the last time Rochester FC played here prior to tonight, it was just shy of another 6,000, 5,944. Another great crowd on hand this evening here in Eagan, Minnesota. W League back underway, officially representing the start of summer. And Aurora hoping it can be another deep run in 2026. I thought it was interesting, Jen Larrick, we had asked her about this earlier in the week, about the notion that this Aurora team, they are undefeated all time in the regular season. There are only 4 losses in franchise history are in the postseason. And Larrick was open about this with the local media earlier in the week as well, because this got brought up. She said, hey, we really don't emphasize that a lot. It's sort of just a byproduct of the successes of our core principles. This one lofted in front. It's Kitagawa, hammered in.
And what did I say, Jake? I thought that she would be able to get another one in this game. Puts herself right there on the doorstep. Puts a missile in.
3 goals in her debut for the club. 5-0 Aurora. A composed finish through traffic for Kitagawa.
That's where you see soccer IQ coming in, putting yourself in that position, allowing that ball to come across, making it difficult on the defense.
Kitagawa will get a much-deserved standing ovation. A debut hat trick for the Memphis Tiger. And Aurora are rolling it home as Talia Corey will come on in place of Kitagawa. Slocum will come up with the interception. And now it's rolled centrally. Here's Boughton. All the momentum under the wings of Aurora FC. They've asked all the questions tonight, and they've had all the answers to them. With a flagship location in Eagan on the Minnesota Vikings campus is an elite athletic performance and recovery philosophy that's unparalleled in the Twin Cities. Utilizing innovative science-based methods, our industry-leading team of experts work together to form a personalized approach for the athlete. Collectively, we establish a foundation for athletic performance that promises to challenge, inspire, and produce real results. To learn more and find locations, visit traininghouse.com. Viking Lakes campus, where this TCO Stadium happens to be seated upon, and it is a beautiful venue for USLW League football here on this Thursday night. What a nifty move there. Tavion able to get free. Turned over, though. Corey back forward with it. Looking back through, it's Fields, and she'll cut it in front, and it's in! Minutes after coming on the pitch, Talia Corey strikes, and it's 6-0 Aurora.
That's exactly what you want if you're Minnesota Aurora. You sub out your player that has a hat trick on the game, but the scoring continues. They throw in another, now 6-0. And your team is really feeling good.
An exquisite finish on the delivery from Fieldson, who grabs an assist to go along with her goal.
Yeah, Fieldson pretty much put a stamp on it, mailed it over to her, and allowed her to slam that one in.
As one would imagine would be at least a bit natural. Anytime you have 20 new players, you're going to have some consternation from the fans, some questions about how this roster is going to mesh. My answer to that, death taxes Aurora FC. They continue to charge forward. Really is an impressive coaching job for Jen Larrick and this Aurora FC coaching staff, the way that they have been able to identify players in the offseason. That's not an easy task. Jen Larrick talked about that with us, that process starts almost as soon as the W League season comes to a close. It's a league that's comprised mainly of active college players. She told us she watches 20,000 hours of college footage. And I believe it after talking to Jen Larrick the last couple seasons.
Yeah, it's impressive dedication, and you're seeing it in action of what it's done for her to be able to have this kind of success here in the home opener.
And it's not just new players, new faces in the lineup, new faces on the touchlines as well. Eric Rossich coming over, first-year assistant coach Manu Costa taking over the goalkeeper unit. Now Corey fighting through, able to draw a whistle, and Mariana Brito will go into the book. Three goals in 45 minutes for Minnesota Aurora. As Brito shown a yellow card caution, they've added 3 more in just a little over 20 minutes in this second half. It's been an impressive offensive performance. Aurora not missing a beat with some of the new faces coming on. And should this result hold, Aurora would win their season opener for the 5th consecutive season. Finger back in the direction of Taylor Fox, who will clean things up there. You look at that all-time record for Aurora here at TCO Stadium, and the numbers are really just eye-popping. A plus 13 goal difference in 6 matches in the 2022 season. Plus 36, plus 24 the following seasons in 23 and 24. A plus 14 last year. Hosting a playoff game for the first time since the inaugural season as Hadley Barrera will run onto it. Barrera trying to carry forward. Knocked off the ball momentarily, and she pushes it out. And that will give both Aurora and Rochester a chance to bring changes on. Eloise Stone, the former San Francisco Glens defender, and Cicely Esbach will both come on. Meanwhile, Haley Mercero will also come on for Aurora. And those changes will have to be held for a moment as play back underway. Rochester on the move, still looking for their first shot on target. Here's Ella Kane from distance. And this is wide of said target, and it'll go out. And now those changes will be made. If you're Eric Field, Rochester FC manager, is right now promptly seated there on that Rochester FC side of things. Just a chance to essentially empty your bench and just see what some of your other players bring to the table. As is mentioned, it is early. This is the opener for all teams. They're still trying to figure out, Rochester, or which unit plays best together, learn each other's tendencies, and see what brings them success in 2026.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree it did not go according to his plan coming into today, but what can he still make of this game? What can he learn about his team that's going to help them throughout this season? And as you said, put those players in, allow them the chance to find those right connections. Who's going to play best together? But also, he's hoping that maybe that formation change he's looking to do might help that too.
There's Talia Corey trying to fight for position on that outside. She has 1 goal already. And wowing the fans with some nifty footwork. Work back over to Corey. Now here's Mercero, the 22-year-old native of Florida who just checked on. Slocum gets past one. Now slides it ahead. Jumping in front is Rachel Jackson. All OVC second team selection a season ago at Lindenwood. Lindenwood University, it's been their home stadium over in St. Charles, Missouri. It's been the site of some massive fixtures over the last couple of seasons, not just collegiately, but also on the men's side in the U.S. Open Cup. BOFHS playing Union Omaha in the U.S. Open Cup. It was announced, rumored at least, that the U.S. Soccer Federation earlier this week has begun engaging talks about potentially a women's U.S. Open Cup. They've engaged NWSL and the Gainbridge Super League. I am of the opinion it'd be great to have the W League involved in that as well, as that cleared away. If nothing else, for no other reason than to bring U.S. Open Cup football to the Twin Cities. Imagine how fun that would be.
There you go. It looks like the fans are ready for it here, too.
Here's Fieldson turning away from Markovic. He has to be careful, already carrying a yellow over from that first 45 minutes as Fieldson able to win a whistle. Look, I'm not taking credit for it, but I have long said that there should be a women's version of the U.S. Open Cup. I'm glad some other important people high above my pay grade seemingly agree with me, at least initially.
I'll hold it to you. Maybe you are going to be the difference maker, Jake.
Hey, I am nothing but a lowly broadcaster as Fieldson will whip this back into a crowd. Trying to nod that toward goal was Aurora. Bowden's still on it. Over to Amelia Brown, who has gone the distance so far. But a real anchor on that back line tonight for Aurora FC. That's something that's been consistent for anyone that's followed her career collegiately. The ball out wide. Here's Corey. Doesn't have the numbers. Talia Corey turning back. Here's Fieldson. She'll swing this in, tap toward goal. But Holmes will collect. Fieldson. Good square ball over to the left. It's Corey running onto it, rather. Aurora and Tavion will loft it back in. Here's Fieldson. Somewhat too heavy of a first touch. Karam's back over to Rush, who helps it along. Barrera inside. Can't hang on to it. Now advantage played briefly here for Rochester. Just trying to put something together here late in this contest. We approach the final 15 minutes. Malley will hack that one forward, trying to find S back. Slocum forward, trying to find Fieldson on this near touchline, and Fieldson just let that ball roll over the boundary, and out it goes for a Rochester throw-in.
She knew it, but you can't knock the effort. You've been seeing her run down this near sideline time and time again.
Tavion back on it, off the turnover. Here's Maya Tavion, probing, finding Barrera. Oh, good ball with the outside of the boot, finding Fieldson. Fieldson curls it, but it's stopped by Holmes. That is save number 5 on the night for Kyla Holmes.
I like that she was looking to put that one on net. She's had a lot of A lot of great service into her teammates, and now looking for a goal herself.
In a crowd, it's Stone. Stone reconnecting with her Yale teammate, Kyla Holmes. The pair of those play at Yale collegiately. Turned over again. It's Tabby on the initiator. Looking to lead the way in over to Fieldson. Good first step. It's Fieldson whose shot is blocked. Excellent recovery by the captain, Rachel Jackson, at the last moment. Able to cut that shot out. The danger not averted quite yet, though. Fieldson pushing for that ball back, and instead it will be a goal kick.
You're seeing how hard Rochester FC has to fight to keep that possession. They don't have it for many seconds before already stopped up.
Izzy McNeil will come on, as will Sydney Adink. More changes for Eric Field and company. Here's Amelia Brown. Brown, not just a standout player collegiately, spent time with Minnesota, transferred to UNC Charlotte in the American Athletic Conference, 70 total collegiate appearances, but she also brings a real championship pedigree to this Aurora team. Part of that 2024 NC Courage U23 squad that won the USLW League. They went to the semifinals the year prior, spent 4 years in the W League prior to joining Aurora. 3,100 minutes played in her W League career, 2 goals. They've had her on the left-hand side of the back line. They've moved her out right. They've had her sometimes covering up in center back play as well. She's a very versatile player, and it's players like that Jen Larrick, while she doesn't necessarily believe in highlighting the individual over the team, it is players like Amelia Brown who she feels like can help get this Aurora side across the finish line, perhaps in 2026. As a Dink will hack this clear.
Yeah, you said it. She doesn't single any player out. She's really team focused, and I would almost have to say outright refuse to single any player out, and that's just a credit to what the Minnesota Aurora staff and culture that they're bringing to everyone. It seems like it goes throughout the players and the coaching staff.
I've had a chance to cover this team for the last 4 seasons, including this, and I will tell you that very much so is the Nicole Lukic coaching tree. That is the Nicole Lukic style of coaching. Had a chance to catch up with Lukic a couple weeks ago at the professional ranks in the Gainbridge Super League, and it was great to see her again, but it was a lot of the same, right? And that is, Jen Larrick talks a lot about that Aurora DNA. Larrick was a part of the inaugural coaching staff as Lukic's assistant coach, now returning. Last year was her first season. This is her second season as the head coach of this club. But Larrick and Lukic, Cassie Ulrich, the rest of them, Jenny Clark, all spending 2 seasons building this base of the house, so to speak, of what has become this highly successful Aurora club. And it is part of that DNA of not elevating the individual over the team. It's all about the team. Larrick also made a point to talk about the player experience as well. She said that she's the type of coach that if we win, but I spend an hour, 90 minutes yelling, and we all yell at each other, and nobody's having fun, that's not a win for us. That is part of the Aurora model. It's something they've set out from day one to make sure they enrich that player experience. Meanwhile, it's Barrera in front. Corey couldn't get onto that ball and cleared away on an emergency basis. Ruby Ortiz able to clear it away. There's Ortiz, plays For college soccer at UTRGV, the NCAA Division I side, who has arguably, I think, the best mascot in all of NCAA Division I, the Vaqueros. Such a fun word to say. Here's Barrera now with it. Helps it along. It's Corey. Steps back inside on a dink. Now back wide. It's Talia Corey. Takes a deflection and cleared away. Running onto it on the overlap. It was Ortiz. Canceled out, though, by Mercero. And back forward. The possession slant in the first half was already heavily in favor of Aurora FC. Roughly about 60% possession. That number has ballooned in this second half. Has to be near 70% for Minnesota Aurora in half number 2. Jim Larrick wants to see this team enjoy the possession. Well, they have enjoyed it to the tune of a 6-0 lead. 3 goals from Ai Kitagawa. They get goals from Jeanette Fieldson, Talia Corey, and a Boughton as well. Here is the aforementioned Corey roaming around. Barrera able to fight for that ball back. It's Tavion. Surveys. Tavion has a hit, and it's stopped by Holmes again.
Holmes has had a fair amount of balls coming her way and able to step up to the challenge as this one gets flung in.
Trying to leave that off for a teammate charging onto it. Haley Mercero able to pick the pieces up for Aurora, but back on it is Ortiz, the midfielder. Shot blocked. Ortiz muscled down. That has been one thing that these substitutes have brought to Aurora in this second half, an advanced level of physicality that Rochester just has not been equipped to be able to deal with. Just minutes ago, we saw Hadley Barrera had been knocked off the ball at the top of the 18, didn't give up on it, just forced her way back in.
And that's something everyone on the team can appreciate and see that that's what they want to build off and create this team atmosphere that, hey, you might lose it for a second, but you're right back with it. And that's kept Minnesota Aurora with this possession for as long as they have this game.
Good ball ahead. Breaking out here are the Loons. Having a hit toward goal. Goes trickling wide. And Fox did not get a finger to it. Just the 3rd shot of the night for Rochester FC. That first shot on target still eluding them.
I would have to say that was probably one of their best attacks, getting that ball right there on the line.
Well, Eric Field, he had said that this Rochester side in 2026, they want to sort of eschew that traditional build-up style that a lot of teams associate with sort of that classical era of football where you methodically build things out. He wants to hit teams quick. That a prime example of it. They haven't had a lot of it tonight, have not been able to unlock their verticality over the top. And, of course, credit to that has to go to Aurora defensively. They've kept their lines tight so far this evening. Not a lot of space to play in between. A Dink trying to force her way past Fieldson. Cannot. And now Slocum, the Boise State Bronco. She will win that ball back. Aurora has a nice history of players coming over from Boise State. Caitlin Slocum trying to cement her place in Aurora history this season. Of course, referring to Morgan Stone, who spent a couple of years with Aurora FC. And now applying her craft professionally overseas. Now wide on the left wing again, trying to switch this back inside. Headed along by Stone. Rachel Jackson will double all the way back and scoop that up. Rachel Jackson wearing the captain's armband for Rochester FC, and according to Eric Thiel, her coach, for good reason. She has all those off-the-field traits that you look for captaincies as players sort of congregate around her without her even really trying, and she's taken on that role of welcoming in all these newcomers, and when they arrive to Rochester,
I think it's always impressive when a player just, without trying, is able to emulate all of those leadership qualities, that their teammates are just right there to look for them in big moments and in small to what needs to be the game plan.
Here's Fieldson carving an opening now for Aurora. Oh, what a delightful ball through, and it's a kick save made. Jeanette Fieldson, she has been a game changer in the second half. 2 goal contributions, almost a third, setting up Talia Corey.
And a credit to Minnesota Aurora for not stopping at the 6 goals they've been able to put in. We've been seeing them still working to try to find that 7th.
Good combination here, springing Tabione free. Corey races past one. Yongi punched away, and it's out for a corner for Aurora.
And possibly keep an eye on Talia Corey. Dangerous on set pieces, able to net one in the Mexican youth national team just a little bit ago, Jake.
Doing so against the United States back in February of 2026. They go the short route in on this set piece. Training ground routine here. Iongi stepping into space. Stepping a bit too far up, and that is cleared away. Just 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go before Aurora officially puts win number 1 on the board in 2026. It's headed down into Hadley Barrera's path. There's Barrera. Couldn't sidestep Rachel Jackson, who clears it. It was Riverlight FC ripping off a win against Aurora's upcoming opponent, Raleigh Madison, to start 2026 off on the front foot. So this victory would move Aurora atop the table, tied with Riverlight FC with 3 points. Raleigh Madison is next on the docket for Minnesota Aurora FC. They'll head to Breeze Stevens Field to take on the W League newcomers who launched this year, owned by the same ownership group that also owns Forward Madison of USL League One on the men's side. Corey looking to swing this in front. Tabion settles and instead skies that out of play. But Aurora and their manager, Jen Larrick, they talked a little bit about this with the local media in the midweek, turning their attention after this match to going on the road to take on Forward Madison. And Jen Larrick, she said she was looking forward to it. It's a Forward Madison team who it's a roster primarily constructed of mainly Wisconsin players. A lot of players who play at University of Wisconsin, even the few that aren't from the state. And Larrick really viewed it as an opportunity not just to play what she feels like is going to be a really talented team, but there also is that little border battle, so to speak, between Minnesota and Wisconsin, giving Aurora another natural rivalry here in this Heartland division.
Yeah, as I said in the open, of course you love an in-state rivalry, but a border battle is always right there with the intensity.
Officially 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end. Trying from distance is Savannah Malley. Her shot turned away.
Jake, Minnesota Aurora has that 3-game road stint, but as far as Rochester FC, they're going to have 3 games at home and possibly going to help them get their first win this season.
Well, in that aforementioned River Light and Forward Madison contest, it was Alexandra Teta starting things off in the 9th minute, really changing the complexion of that contest. Teta, she has been with River Light the last 2 seasons, spent some time with Chicago City, now the defunct Chicago City side. They ran their lead to 2-0. Caroline Birdsell, a goal in the 74th minute. Birdsell, she had a goal against Aurora FC off a corner 2 years ago in this venue. It was the opening goal in what was a 3-2 Aurora win, and then Forward Madison just at the death. Megan Murray able to get a goal. Our star of the game tonight, Ai Kitagawa, and you see that graphic on your screen and you understand why Ai Kitagawa is the star of the game. 3 goals in her first match in an Aurora shirt. It's all smiles there for Kitagawa and company.
Yeah, how could it not? That is exactly how she would want that season opener. And you think about, for her, getting to hats off to this home crowd right away.
Forward to Fieldson, the give and go. Into the path of Slocum. Slocum, early ball in on the turn. It's Corey, and it's stopped by Holmes again.
I love the play. I love the turn. Unfortunately for her, not able to get enough power on it to send it towards net.
Emily Zilla checks the watch. She'll let this one play out a few extra seconds. Rochester just unable to straddle the stripe. Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same in the Twin Cities. Aurora opens 2026 in dominant fashion. A 6-0 victory over Rochester FC. Jen Larrick picks up win number 13 of her coaching career. We'll head to break and return to TCO Stadium to break it all down.
Some things are easy.
Next. From everyday checkups to specialized institutes and leading hospitals, our team is already right here, no matter where life takes you. Expert care built for what's next. Allina Health. All together better.
We'll hear from his attorney. And a Twin Cities radio icon is retiring.
You'll be very missed.
Why fans say Dave Ryan stood out.
This is Fox 9 News at 9.
Message to the fraudsters is this: eat, drink, and be merry today, because your days of frolicking and freedom are numbered.
It's been dubbed the Minnesota healthcare fraud takedown. The U.S. Department of Justice charging 15 people for fraud that targeted more than $90 million in taxpayer money. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Randy Meyer.
And I'm Kelsey Carlson. New fraud charges announced today. Federal prosecutors saying the suspects targeted more than half a dozen Medicaid programs, treating them like their own personal piggy banks to fund luxurious lifestyles.
Make no mistake, today's charges are unprecedented. They include the highest loss amount ever charged in a Medicaid case in Minnesota and the largest autism fraud scheme ever charged by the Department of Justice.
Of the 15 suspects charged, one was on the run after federal investigators say he jumped off a fourth-floor balcony and took off as the FBI closed in. But tonight, he is in custody.
And tonight we have team coverage of all of it.
So Young Kim is tracking what this development means for the Medicaid funding that was cut off by the federal government. But first, Mike Manzoni joins us with new details on the escape that later turned into